illusory energy will subside if we can hear and describe the activities of the Supreme Lord. So Bhagavatam is completely focused on one singular truth, that describing and hearing the glories of the Supreme Lord is the ultimate solution to all problems of material existence. And that alone can pull the living entity out of this material existence. So that is how Bhagavatam described. And then in this verse, the Bhagavatam describes that the Lord, whose activities are spotless, he is the master of the six senses, he is fully omnipotent and with six opulences, and he creates these material universes, he maintains them, and he annihilates them without being the least affected. So, and then further it says that he is within every living being and is always independent. So, the Lord maintains, the Lord first creates this universe, maintains this universe, and annihilates this universe. This is explained in the verse. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, why does the Lord do all these things? Why does he create this universe? Why does he maintain everyone? And why does he annihilate these universes? Because he wants to reclaim all the living entities back to his abode. So, by reading Srimad-Bhagavatam from a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada, we get the total picture of this entire creation. Why this creation exists? This is a question which only the Acharyas, and particularly Acharyas in our Gaudiya Sampradaya, they have answered with perfect clarity. Modern science is making a lot of endeavor to know the cause of this creation, and they have put forward different theories as to how this universe has been manifested. But unfortunately, nobody is ever able to answer this question as to why this creation exists. That is a mystery. How this universe is created, scientists are at least able to give some idea, some theories. They have put forward some theories. Whether it is right or wrong is a different question. But at least they are able to put forward some theory by their scientific endeavor. But why does this creation exist? What is the purpose for this existence of this universe? That nobody has any answer. So therefore, most of the people have concluded that there is no purpose behind this creation. There is no higher purpose. It simply exists. Do not ask this question, why does this universe exist? So when somebody subscribes to this philosophy, that there is no purpose behind this creation, why this exists and all, these are all unnecessary questions, nor can it be answered. What happens when a society accepts or subscribes this philosophy? What happens? People accept this life of 50, 60, 70 years as all in all. This is the result. This 60 years, 70 years or 80 years maximum is all in all. There is no purpose behind creation. There is no need to believe that there is a God. Even if there is a God, why he has created all these things are unknown to us. So these few years of say 60 years or 70 years, this is all in all, and just try to maximize your enjoyment in this 50, 60 years, and anyway after death everything is finished. So this is the philosophy under whose influence the entire modern society and civilization is making rapid economic development. So this idea that life is eternal, that we are eternal, and there is another eternal person who is God, and he has created all this for a purpose, and we have to align ourselves with that purpose for which this universe is created. All this does not figure in the scheme of things of the modern civilization. These few years are all in all 50 years, 60 years, 70, or at most 80, 90 years. And that also by scientific advancement, we will try to maximize the number of years a person lives. And what is the purpose of life? Try to accumulate as much wealth as possible, and then try to enjoy the senses, and one day everything is finished. So under this conception, the entire modern society is functioning. But there are a lot of problems with this philosophy, practically also and philosophically also. Practically, what does the problem arise if you accept a philosophy like this, that there is no past life, there is no future life, this one life is all in all 50 or 60 years. The problem is when somebody experiences suffering or pain, he is unable to explain why he is suffering. Why is it that I am put into such a suffering? Modern society cannot explain. Modern philosophy cannot explain. You may give a immediate cause for the suffering. If suppose somebody is bedridden for months together, medically, biologically, they may give a reason that this is the reason this person is bedridden. He has got typhoid, or he has got a heart problem, such and such, such and such. But ultimately, why is this person having to undergo all these things? Why these things are enforced upon me? That nobody is able to give an answer. So what is the cause of suffering? Because no one wants suffering, irrespective of which religion we may subscribe to. It's a fact that nobody wants to suffer. But suffering comes either physically, Adi Daivik, Adi Baudik, Adhyatmik. We hear these are three types of suffering. Suffering which is caused by our own body and mind, suffering which is given by other living entities, and suffering by earthquake and natural disasters. These three types of suffering exists, and no one wants this suffering. So when suffering comes, why is this suffering coming? This modern society, modern education is not able to explain. Big universities are there, highly educated people are there, so much advancement in science and technology is there, but modern education, modern universities, modern thinkers are unable to give a satisfying answer as to why this suffering is existing in my life. So the Vedic knowledge differs from such ignorant ideas. Vedic literature states that we are eternal, we are not this body. That means in the past I have had a body, now I am living inside a body. In the past also I was living in some other body. That body might have been a male body or a female body, or might have been in some animal form, or it might have been in America, Africa, Australia, we do not know. But it is for sure that in the past I was existing. The Bhagavad-gita, Krishna says this point, Natve vaham jatu nasam natvam neme janadipa nachaivana bhavishyamaha sarve vayam atapparam. You, me, and all these kings, we were existing in the past, we are existing now, and we will continue to exist in the future. So, Vedic knowledge, the foundation of Vedic knowledge is to understand that I am eternal, I have existed in the past. And in the past, when I was existing in some other body, I have performed certain activities. Those activities are the cause of the present suffering. Those activities are the cause of the present suffering. This is how Vedic knowledge educates us. And today, if I perform some activities, which is technically called as punya and papa, pious activities and impious activities, in the future, I will have to suffer or enjoy accordingly. So therefore, this puts a lot of responsibility on our action. Vedic knowledge is not fatalistic. Sometimes people say that if people start believing in destiny and all these ideas, they don't work hard. They say everything is destiny, everything will happen on its own. Why should I work hard? So it encourages laziness. Like that, one counter argument is there. That is not true. That is true when people understand this Vedic knowledge in a haphazard way, irregularly from some haphazard source. But when this Vedic knowledge is received properly from a spiritual master, this knowledge is very, very helpful to us. That I am eternal, I was existing in the past, I have lived in the past, and all my present situation, whatever I am experiencing, my intelligence, my personality, my abilities, the amount of wealth I have, the social respect I am getting, whatever I am today is because of my past punya or papa, past activities. Therefore, simply by my endeavor, I cannot change everything. It's very important to know. Modern society encourages everyone to believe that simply work hard, work as hard as possible, and if you simply endeavor, you will get all the success. That is not true. That is not true. That is a very, very dangerous philosophy. It pushes people. Shri Krishna Rukmani Satyabhama ki jai, Shri Krishna Balaram ki jai, Gaur Nitai ki jai. It pushes people to depression and suicidal tendencies. Because a person endeavors, works very hard, he is not getting the result. Again he works hard, he is not getting the result. Again he works hard, he is not getting the result. How long he can stretch himself emotionally? 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. At one point of time, person collapses emotionally and he decides it's all useless, and then he commits suicide. Hundreds of cases are there in the society. So many cases are there. Even yesterday, we had a news article. One student from IIT Madras, he committed suicide because he said he is not good enough. He was working very hard, but he could not get the desired result. So what is the explanation? Modern society, they cannot give any explanation. But Vedic literature has got explanation that your endeavor alone is not the cause of your success. You should have the requisite punya also. If you are lacking in punya and you are simply putting effort, you will not be successful. You have to accumulate that punya. So therefore, in the Vedic culture, what happens is, people are very eager to accumulate punya. People know very well, if I am working very hard to achieve something and it is not happening, it is because I lack in punya. Therefore, get punya. So therefore, Brahmanas are there in the Vedic society. Their only business is to advise people to perform punya. Do this parihara, do that parihara, go to this temple, this Shivan temple you go, Amman temple you go, or Murugan temple you go, Ganesha temple you go, this vrata you take, that vrata you take, this tirtha yatra you do. Because the Brahmanas can figure out, as per your chart, as per your astrology, you don't have this punya. You may endeavor, but you will not be successful. If you want to be successful, please accumulate that punya. So the person will ask, what should I do if I have to get punya? So you will give a list of activities. Perform this. And if you perform punya today, in future, that punya fructifies and you will get what you want. That future may be 5 days, 5 months, or 500 years, or 50 years. So if it is 500 years, you have to take birth again. If it is 5 months, then in 5 months you get the result of your punya. 5 months back, I went to some tirtha yatra, I gave a lot of cows in charity. 5 months over, I got what I desired. If it is 50 years and person is 60 years old, 110 years he may live, he may not live. So what happened to all that punya? I went to so many temples, did so much parihara, so much punya I accumulated. Therefore he is born again. Then the result of that punya, he becomes very successful. This knowledge people do not know. Recently there was a news item in Bangladesh. There is one 6-year-old boy. He is a physics professor. He is giving lectures to big PhD scholars. So how they will explain? How scientists can explain? How is it 6-year-old boy has mastered all the concepts of physics and he is giving discourses to elderly physics professors? It is because of his previous punya. In the past life, he has accumulated so much punya. At 6 years, he is able to grasp all the concepts of physics, where somebody else takes 60 years to grasp them. So science cannot explain this. They say DNA. If it is DNA, the same parents are another child. Why in his DNA it is not there? They cannot explain. So it's a very subtle law. So it is explained here in the Bhagavatam. The Lord maintains. So the Supreme Lord Krishna, he maintains all the living entities. He is responsible for the success of all living entities in this world. If somebody is a great singer, he is a great speaker, or he is a very rich man, or a very powerful politician, whatever social position he has achieved, it is because of the Lord who has sanctioned that punya. So people who are trained in the Vedic education, they know this for sure. If I am not getting something, I don't have the punya. So there is no need to commit suicide, perform punya. So in the modern society, because people are lacking in this knowledge of punya and papa, they endeavor very much hard, and if something doesn't happen, next thing is depression, next thing is suicide. Suicide is the last option. So a society which is detached from Vedic knowledge ultimately goes into depression and suicide only. This is what is happening. Because when you endeavor for something in this world, there is no guarantee whether the success will come or not. That is why the creation is designed by the Lord. Otherwise, if you work hard and you get everything, nobody will think of God. He will say, I am God. I work, there may be success, I may be failure. And this whole mechanism is there just to make the living entity humble. That I am not all in all. I may endeavor, but it may happen, it may not happen. When it doesn't happen, person tends to God. He turns to God. So that is how this creation is designed by the Lord. So the Lord maintains everyone through this law of karma. So that should be very clearly understood. And because in the modern education, people don't believe in this, there is no training in these fundamental concepts of Vedic knowledge. So people work very hard, under the false belief, under the false impression that simply your hard work is directly proportional to your success. And then to bewilder them, there are so many cases where people have actually worked very hard and they are successful also. So in the newspaper and big success stories, rags to riches story they publish. You see, this person, he was nothing. He was simply roaming on the street. He worked very hard. Now he is such a big person. We give the example of that case. But 99 other cases who also worked hard but they failed, that case doesn't come out in the media. So why one person is successful, another person is not successful? If this question is asked, what is the answer they give? They say he worked properly, he did not work properly. Okay, why he worked properly, why he did not work properly? If you go further, then they are not able to answer. So, as mentioned in the 18th chapter of the Bhagavad-gita also, Panchaitani Mahabaho Karanani Nibodame. There are 5 factors which influence the success of a particular action. One of them is endeavor. And the final 5th factor, Krishna says, is Daivam. Daivam Panchatra, Daivam Pancham. The 5th factor, as Krishna says, is Daivam, the Supreme Lord. So the Lord's sanction through the law of karma is very much essential. And in this country, till we had the influence of this modern Macaulay education system, in the Gurukula education system, every person, even illiterate person, was very much conscious of Papa, Punya and Punarjanma. These are fundamental things. Atma, Punarjanma, Papa and Punya. These 4 things everybody knew. Irrespective of whether he was a devotee of Krishna or not, everybody knew this. Therefore, we find in the Bhagavatam, even Hiranyakashipu, Kamsa, they also spoke of this. Kamsa is a demon, but he also knows about Papa, Punya and Punarjanma. So everyone knew this. So, because people were trained in such a Vedic knowledge, whenever there is failure, they would understand failure is because either I have not endeavored, or if I have endeavored and still there is failure, my karma is not allowing me. Therefore, accumulate karma, accumulate punya. So, therefore, in the Vedic culture, people were very eager to accumulate punya. Like today, people are very eager to accumulate money in the bank account. That is a consciousness. We can have as much money as possible in our bank account, then we'll be very happy. People in the Vedic culture were very, very conscious of punya and papa. If I accumulate as much punya as possible, more and more punya I gather, then definitely I will be happy. Because they knew that my present situation, I am well situated. Well situated means I have enough wealth, enough money for my necessities. I have nice, affectionate family members. I have good social position. All these things I have because of my previous punya. Therefore, if I have to further this, I have to continue to perform punya. Of course, the ignorance here is they keep performing papa and punya, papa and punya, papa and punya. They get so much fastidious and meticulous, very careful about performing punya and avoiding papa karma. In this way, people do enjoy in a very pious way. But sometimes when suffering comes, people are not able to understand. In the sense, they know it is my papa karma, they are aware of that. But then, this world is created by the Lord in such a way that it is not possible to perform only punya karma and completely avoid papa karma. That is the way this world is designed by the Lord. That should be, because in the Vedic culture, the first level of education given to people is, please understand, you are eternal, perform punya karma, avoid papa karma. If you perform papa karma, you will suffer. So this consciousness is there. So people are very, very careful. I will avoid papa karma, I will perform punya karma. And then that way the person continues. But suddenly when suffering comes, he knows it is papa karma. After many, many such births of trying to perform only punya karma and avoiding papa karma, still suffering comes. Why? Because somewhere down the line, mistake happens. So there is no living entity in this entire creation who can make his papa karma 0 and perform only punya karma. It is not possible. That is the way this universe, this creation of the Lord is designed. Why it is designed like that? Why? Because Krishna wants all of us back to his abode. That is the purpose. Very intelligent design by the Lord. Otherwise, if you can completely avoid papa karma and perform only punya karma, there is no need to surrender to Krishna at all. You can live here eternally, happily. Eternally you can be in this material, happily. Just perform punya and be happy. But Krishna knows this. Therefore, the Lord has kept this design in such a way it is not possible to perform only punya karma and avoid papa karma. There's a very nice pastime in the Bhagavatam which describes this of King Nriga. King Nriga the pastime goes that Krishna is walking in a particular place and there is a large well and there is a huge lizard inside. So Krishna sees and then he pulls out the lizard, and it's a large lizard. It's not a small lizard like we see, huge lizard. And just by the touch of Krishna, the lizard completely transforms into his previous form as a king. So the Lord inquires, why had you acquired this form? Why were you residing in this well? So that person, King Nriga, he replies that I was a great king and I used to perform huge amount of punya karma. I used to give large amount of charity to the brahmanas, qualified brahmanas, and I used to give huge amount of cows. So it so happened that once I had given some large number of cows, 10,000 cows in charity to a particular brahmana, and each cow was bedecked with gold, jewelry and silk and costly ornaments, each cow. Like that 10,000 cows I gave in charity. Then another brahmana came, him also I gave similar amount of charity. By mistake, one cow from this brahmana's charity went and mingled with the other brahmana's set of cows. So this second brahmana came to me and said, you promised 10,000 cows, only 9,999 are there, so you are responsible for this. So this king went to the other brahmana and found out what is the cause of this, and he told, my dear brahmana, if you please give that one cow back to me, in return for that I will give you 1 million cows. So the other brahmana said, once charity given is given, you cannot take back. Even if you give 1 million cows in charity, you cannot take that back. So this King Nriga was struck. He could not do anything. So as a result of that, he was cursed by the other brahmana that you promised 10,000, one shot, you become a lizard. So this Bhagavatam, this pastime is mentioned just to show how however meticulously one may be very careful in avoiding papa karma. If you are not at all conscious of papa and punya, simply act in whichever way you want, then that is this modern civilization. Then there is no hope at all. So first level is to understand there is papa, punya, punarjanma, therefore be careful. So even if you are very careful, still it is not possible to avoid papa karma completely. That is the way this creation is designed by the Lord. Why it is designed like that? As Prabhupada says, He creates these manifested universes in order to reclaim the living entities who are stuck in this material world. That is why in the Bhagavad-gita, Krishna says, Bahunam janmanamante jnanaman mam prapadyate vasudeva sarvamiti samahatma sudarlabha. After many such janmas of dabbling around with papa and punya, papa and punya, papa and punya, finally, Bahunam janmanamante, person who is in knowledge, jnanaman, he understands this papa punya business is simply a waste of time. I can never be permanently happy by this. Jnanavan, such a person, what does he do? Mam prapadyate. Krishna says he surrenders to me. At that time, Vasudeva sarvamiti, this consciousness he achieves. That Vasudeva, Krishna is everything. Such a person, sudurlabha. So this is how there is ignorance at a very basic level. Today's civilization, society is completely ignorance. If some people do not know there is papa, punya, punarjanma, then it will simply lead to depression and suicide, as we are seeing. And then, even if you are followers of the Vedic culture, where you know there is papa, punya, punarjanma, therefore I should not perform sinful activity, still it is not possible to perfectly be happy, because somehow or the other, some mistake will happen, we will end up committing some sinful activity, and that will be the cause of suffering. So we cannot nullify suffering in this world by avoiding papa karma, because it is not possible to avoid sinful activities completely, especially in Kali Yuga. So that is the way, this design of the Lord. Therefore, the only way is to take to Sankirtana movement, chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, and surrender to Krishna and go back to his abode. This pursuit has to be there in the consciousness of all the living beings. If this pursuit is not there, a sincere endeavor to go back to the Lord is not there, such persons will be bewildered. Because that is the purpose of the creation. So everyone has to align himself with the will of the Lord, with the will of the Supreme Lord, the purpose of this creation, which is to attain Him. Those who are not ready to attain Him, those who are not ready to surrender to Krishna, for them, this whole Vedic culture, system of papa, punya, punarjanma, perform pious activity, be happy, all these things exists. Papa karma is an invisible force which stops you from achieving what you want. And punya karma is an invisible force which helps you in achieving what you want. It's a very subtle mechanism. Just like somebody is going in a river. If the waves of the river are with him, then he goes very easily. He can cross over the river very easily. So punya karma is like that. Somebody desires something and he works towards that. Punya karma helps him. The waves of the river push his boat towards the destination. And papa karma is the opposite. It is like the waves of river flowing against the boat. So therefore, person who has performed papa karma, he is unable to achieve what he wants despite his endeavor. So to alleviate and set right this problem, traditionally in a Vedic society, there are Brahmanas and their only business is to advise about papa, punya, parihara, what to do, what not to do. Your forefathers have done something, this has happened, that has happened, this has happened, like this. I remember many years, there was a friend of mine, repeatedly there were some deaths in his family, and then they went to the astrologer and they read the chart and he did a whole calculation. And then he said, your forefathers were tilling the land and once accidentally they killed one snake. And that sarpa dosha is still there in your lineage. Some 3-4 generations back, their forefathers were, they were farmers, they were tilling the land. Accidentally they killed one snake and that sarpa dosha is still affecting your entire lineage. Therefore all these things are happening. See how complicated the network of papa and punya is there. When, who has done, what has done, why suffering comes, we don't know anything. Simply suffering comes, that's all. And even through Vedic means it is not possible to exactly find out. So complicated it is. That is why in the Bhagavad-gita Krishna says, Kim karma, kim akarmeti, kavayopyatra mohitaha. Laws of karma are very, very complex. What is karma, what is vikarma, which papa, which punya, what is the cause, is extremely difficult to find out. So therefore, the only way to overcome all these problems is to wholeheartedly take to the Sankirtana movement, understand that the purpose behind this creation is not to get trapped in papa and punya, it is to go back to Krishna, and if we can endeavor in life towards that direction, then whatever is necessary for our maintenance, that will also come. This is a very important point. Because generally, when we advise a person that you surrender to Krishna, you take up this process of Krishna consciousness as all in life, then the first question that comes to the person is, what happened to my maintenance? If I don't endeavor day and night, then what will happen to my food, clothing, shelter? So, Bhagavatam describes that whatever we are supposed to get in this life is already decided by our previous activities. Tasyeva prayato tasyeva heto prayateta kovido na labhyate bravatam upariyadaha, Bhagavatam says. So what is due to us, for we have already worked. Present is a result of the past. Already we have worked. Now we cannot increase it even by 1 rupee by our present endeavor. So if somebody has faith in these words of the Bhagavatam, so then endeavor for devotional service. It is not to make people lazy. So what Bhagavatam is saying is material sukha and dukkha is already fixed. It is already destined. How much we will get in life is destined by our previous activities. Therefore, one should endeavor for devotional service without worrying about one's personal maintenance. That will actually help him on the path of spiritual life and actually will give solution from all suffering. Otherwise, modern society, it is simply creating emotional turbulence in the minds of everyone. People who are ignorant of the subtle laws of nature, they simply suffer. And that is what is happening all around us. And Sankirtana movement is the only way people can be saved from all these things. Because there are no Brahmanas to educate people in Kali Yuga that this is Papa Karma, Punya Karma, nor do people have faith in the idea that there is Papa, Punya, Punarjanma. That much the consciousness has degraded. So what is it that people of Kali Yuga can do? They can only chant Hare Krishna mantra, they can take prasadam. That's all they can do. They cannot do anything else. Therefore, only these two things have been prescribed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the path of auspiciousness. So if you accept these two simple activities, chanting Hare Krishna mantra and taking prasadam, this knowledge of Papa Karma, Punya Karma, Punarjanma will automatically come through the influence of Sankirtana. Sankirtana brings all this knowledge into our consciousness and ultimately takes us back to Krishna also. So we'll stop here. Grantaraj Srimad-Bhagavatam ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaura Premanande.